You don't have to be perfect. There's tons of foods out there that help with testosterone. There's also plenty of foods that can actually lower your testosterone. Hey guys, Mark Mcilyar with Live Anabolic, and today I want to give you a list of some foods you can eat to help boost your testosterone level, just naturally. And you know, I don't know if you've seen some of my other videos where I talk about testosterone, but it's really important for us older guys. You know, when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's wonderful. Life is great, remember? But we naturally start to produce less and less testosterone every year after roughly the age 30. And it's about 1 to 2% decline per year after the age of 30. So, you know, you guys could do your own math like that real quick, depending on your age. So anything we can do to help keep our T levels as high as possible and to kind of basically trick Mother Nature, the better. Some of those things are exercise, resistance training, some of them are avoiding certain foods, some of them are actually eating certain foods, and that's what today's video is about. Okay, I'm going to get into the 8 foods real quick, and just remember guys, I don't expect you to be able to eat all of these foods all the time. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you some ideas out there. Some of you might have thought that, you know, you love this food, but you might not have even thought it was good for you. Okay, so I'm just going to throw a bunch of things out today and, you know, write them down. Gary's got some great videos about the same subject, and so there's just lots of things that you need to keep in the back of your mind when you're grocery shopping, okay? So the first one is just eggs. People, you know, that's very common. A lot of guys might have eggs, but, you know, only once a week, let's say. You might go out for breakfast. Well, the egg yolk in eggs has got cholesterol, fat in it. And that cholesterol is important for men to be able to use that to produce testosterone. So it's one thing to eat egg whites, and I see guys do that all the time, and that's, you know, when you do egg whites, you're just getting protein. Basically, there's no carbs and no fat in egg whites, all right? But when you include the yolk, then you're getting the quote-unquote healthy fats that has the cholesterol that your body needs to actually produce testosterone. And that's another reason why I tell guys, don't go on super low-fat diets. It's okay to go on low-carb diets, but not low-fat. And I'm fine with you doing egg whites, maybe, and then but throw one whole egg in there. You might get 2 or 3 egg whites plus a whole egg. And that way you kind of get the benefit of the healthy fats in that one yolk, but you also get the benefits of having less fat than if you'd included all 3 yolks, and you cut out a lot of calories that way. All right, so the second food today is pomegranates, and most of us don't even see them at the grocery store, do we? We don't even notice them, but you might give them a try. Just see if you like them. There's some flavonoids in pomegranates that really help boost your testosterone. And I'll say that, you know, not being an expert on this, there's just lots of studies. You can Google pomegranate and testosterone, and it'll give you, you know, a much more in-depth explanation of what's going on. But it's a really tasty fruit, and if you end up really liking it, it might be something that you incorporate into your weekly diet on a regular basis. All right, the third one is leafy greens. Now, everybody's going to roll their eyes on this one. I know it. A lot of us don't like to eat leafy green vegetables. And if that's the case, I got a solution for you. But these leafy green vegetables, the reason why they're so good for testosterone is because they actually help flush excess estrogen out of our system. And if you didn't know it, guys, we also produce estrogen just like women. We just don't produce nearly as much. And women also produce testosterone just like we do, but not nearly as much. So anyway, leafy greens help keep those estrogen levels suppressed, which makes it easier for our bodies to produce more testosterone. But I get it. It's hard to get that into your diet, especially on a daily basis, these leafy greens. So just try this. Give it a try and see how you like it. It's a supplement. Ours is called Testo Greens. The generic term is a greens powder. And basically what it is just super concentrated amount of vegetables and fruits and mushrooms and all kinds of prebiotics, and there's over 40 ingredients in here. So click the link below this video and it'll take you to our website where it actually talks about this in detail. Because we list every ingredient and we put why it's in there and what it does for you. And then just as important as that, keep scrolling down below the product on our website, and that's where you get to the customer reviews. We have hundreds and hundreds of wonderful reviews. Now, it won't work for everybody, guys, and it's impossible for me to predict who it's going to work for and who it's not. But if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Just let us know. Send us an email, and we'll refund your money. I'll guarantee you nobody else in the industry has got as good of a guarantee as we do. All right, you're going to like this one. Number 4, beef. All the guys are going to like this. I'm fine with you eating beef. I love it. It's good for you. You got tons of protein in there, and it also has zinc. And zinc is an important mineral that we need for our bodies to efficiently produce testosterone. So, you know, when you're buying your beef, I want you to avoid the really high-fat stuff like 80-20 hamburger meat. You know, it's 80% protein, 20% fat. That's a high percentage of fat. Instead, go for the 90-10, 90% lean, 10% fat. So you're still getting the healthy fat in there that your body needs, but you're not getting as many calories because fat is just so dense. It's got more than twice as many calories per gram as protein and carbohydrates. So guys, steak is wonderful. Load up. Number 5 is really tasty, berries. You know, this kind of goes in with the fruit. Everybody knows that fruit's good for you, but berries help reduce the oxidative stress in your body, and that helps with producing testosterone. And going along the same lines, that helps lower your cortisol levels. So cortisol is a stress hormone that we all make, and in varying degrees. And a little bit of cortisol is just totally fine. It's normal. But berries can help reduce cortisol levels in guys that have been really stressed out. They're not sleeping enough, and so their body's producing too much cortisol. And the more cortisol you produce, the less testosterone you can produce. They're inversely related. So anything that keeps those cortisol levels as low as possible will help with our testosterone levels. All right, number 6 is fish, especially fatty fish. So what do I mean by fatty fish? Well, salmon, tuna, and sardines. So it's that fat, once again, that's the healthy fat that has the omega-3s in it that's good for your heart and your testosterone production. All fish is good for you because it's high in protein. You have some like whitefish or tilapia that you can buy. That's healthy for you. It's great in protein, very few carbs, no fat, but it doesn't help with your testosterone. So I prefer to eat salmon and tuna fish because I get lots of protein and I get those healthy omega-3 fats that helps with my testosterone levels. Sardines, you guys can try. You know, it's just kind of a one-off deal. Some guys might love them. Some guys might just go, ooh, just too much. But it doesn't hurt to try them. All right, number 7 is oysters. All right, kind of like fatty fish. It's high in omega-3s and zinc, and both of those things are great for our testosterone levels. And of course, you guys, you know, have heard for decades, I'm sure, that oysters are kind of a pseudo-aphrodisiac. And I think there's plenty of studies. You might even want to Google oyster and testosterone or aphrodisiac and see what Google has to say for it. But if you guys like oysters, that's kind of a fun thing to take your wife or girlfriend out to the oyster bar or the seafood restaurant and just order a bunch of oysters. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, the 8th one, guys, I'm just going to admit, I know almost nothing about this or how the hell you're going to incorporate this into your diet. But cocoa powder. For some reason, it's high in magnesium, which is great for testosterone production, but I'm not talking about chocolate. Cocoa powder and chocolate bars are not the same thing. So don't get me lying to you on how you're going to incorporate cocoa powder into your daily diet. Maybe, you know, in baking or something like that. I don't know. But that's a good question for Google. All I know is cocoa powder is good for your testosterone production. All right, so in wrapping things up, I told you at the very beginning that you're not going to be able to do all these foods, all right? I don't expect it, but, you know, maybe 3 or 4 of these things hit home with you, and you're like, wow, I like that kind of food, and I don't typically buy it or eat much of it. I might as well add that to my weekly, nutrition. So you don't have to be perfect. There's tons of foods out there that help with testosterone. There's also plenty of foods that can actually lower your testosterone. And the key is, guys, as we get older, we just need to kind of pick little things here and there and be smart about it. And, you do that on a regular basis and stick with it, you can get those T levels up. But remember, you can never give up on yourself.